Hi everyone and welcome back to the World War II Solitaire board game channel here on YouTube. Wow, I am super excited because this is my first ever playthrough video of Patton's Best. And this is really a great game if you ask me. I like it a lot. The only real downside with this game for me is that it does have a very heavy rule set, a big learning curve, and there are many exceptions to the rules which you have to kind of keep in your head. So you know, I have a bunch of what do you call them, post-it notes. I have a total of 7 post-it notes up on the wall as I play. Let's see if I can show you some of them because they're sticking to one of these games I have here. So these are just 4 of my post-it notes, and I've only played, well, I played about 8 days in the game or something like that. So that's quite a lot of hours because one day can last up to 3 hours depending on how much resistance you encounter. But I'm feeling as I'm playing more and more, these exceptions do have a tendency to stick in your head easier. So it's just a matter of getting used to the game. And if you really like it, like I feel I do, it is well worth the effort. Okay, so just a few notes before we get going here, guys. First of all, this is my first playthrough video in a very long time. So not everything might be as perfect that I would like it to be. I can tell you know, the last video, this short unboxing video, my video editing program had updated. Everything was new. I couldn't find anything, and wow, it was a lot of work. So, and it's the same with everything. You know, everything is updated, and you know, I have new lights and everything. So I hope it's gonna be okay, but it might not be as perfect as it used to be. Regarding the light, I think it looks a little bit perhaps dark, but the problem is that this board is kind of gives you that reflection. So I don't want to push the lights too hard because I don't like, you see here now we don't see part of our movement map. So let me know, guys, how you think. Is this enough, or do I need to put some more light in with the risk of having that reflection on the map? Okay, guys, so there is several reasons why I'm so excited about this playthrough video. It's not only because I haven't done a playthrough video in a very long time, but it's also because I have a bunch of you guys actually joining me in my tank. So in our tank we have a commander, we have a loader, a driver, an assistant driver, and a gunner. So I've recruited a bunch of people. I have them here on my list. First of all, our tank name is going to be Hell's Angels, and if we have a replacement tank, that is going to be Vegas. If we have a second replacement tank, that's going to be Unity. Our commander is going to be me, of course, D. Niemi, and then we have a gunner, Vince C. Our loader is going to be W. Peterson. Our driver is going to be Abbott, and our assistant driver is going to be William N. And then we have some replacements in case of crew casualties, and our first replacement is Mutin. Our second replacement is J. Irish Harkin. And then we also have, and that's just for fun because you're not going to name your squad leaders of your infantry, but there is friendly infantry and friendly tanks, and our friendly infantry squad leader is Charles L. So the first casualty is going to be him. So I'll let you know when Charles is unfortunately KIA, because I can promise you that's going to happen, because unfortunately quite a lot of friendlies bite the dust in this one. And finally, why I'm so excited to make this playthrough video is because it has taken me a very long time to learn this game. I have heard many people say that, oh, it's quite simple, you just follow the sequence of play. But I think people, they play it, but they play it with like a lot of mistakes perhaps, because I mean, there are so many exceptions, and when you look at the forum, some people are very shocked to find, oh, that's an exception, oh. And I mean, there are a total of 3 videos on this game on YouTube where they actually play it. Greatly appreciate these videos because they helped me to understand the flow of the game. But the negative part of these videos is that the guys, it's the original Grognard and 2 other guys, and they sit down and they play it, but they don't quite know the rules. So they're like looking up the rules as they go. And because I'm guessing these are like live videos or something like that. And that's not very helpful when you're trying to learn the game. It is helpful to see the flow of the game, but not really when you're trying to learn it. So I hope that my video is going to be good in that matter, that you can watch this video and then hopefully you're not going to have to read the rules so much. Let me know what you think of the light, if I can improve it. Do you want it to be lighter, darker, or is it good? We're also going to try out my new dice tower here. You're going to have to let me know how that works out as well. I do still have my other dice tower that I usually go with, but I kind of feel that it's a little bit easier to use this one, but I'm not sure, maybe it's harder to see what I actually roll. But let me know what you think, guys. And so this is what we're gonna do. The game consists of combat. It starts on the 27th of July 1944 and it goes all the way to the 18th of April 1945. And combat is not gonna happen every day, but the day that combat happens is gonna be 1 episode. So we'll take it step by step, day for day, because usually I like to make full playthroughs of a whole campaign, as I did with the Hunters. I have some videos there that are 4 or 5 hours long, but that is not going to work with Patton's Best, because a whole campaign can be probably 80 hours or something like that. You never know. I mean, if you do actually survive the whole campaign, which is highly unlikely. And the only way to win and to lose, to win is to survive with your commander for the whole campaign, and lose is when your commander is killed or wounded enough to be sent home. Okay, I think actually that is enough of me talking, so we're gonna jump straight to the game. And I am gonna be showing you some charts, because I'm gonna scan the charts, and because there's a lot of the, chart rolling. And as I roll on the charts, because I want you to feel like you're a part of the game and that you understand what I'm rolling for, I'm gonna scan the charts and put them up on the screen. So if I say, for example, now I'm rolling on the to hit target, we're gonna discuss the different modifiers and so on. And as we go, as we progress through the campaign, perhaps that is gonna be, the further we get, the less I'm gonna do it, because it's time consuming to edit. But now in the beginning, I'm assuming not all of you know the rules to the game. I think that's a good way to do it. Anyway, so the first thing we need to do now is to enter our after action report. All right, so for our date, we will not enter anything yet, because we don't know when the first combat is going to be. But tank name, we know that. I have my little sheet paper here, so it's gonna be Hell's Angels. And the tank model is quite simple, because you always start with the M4. And there is a game variant where you will actually play with the British Firefly. But in the original game, you start with the M4. And then we have our crew. Commander, you start as Sergeant, but you can receive promotions. And the commander is De Niemi. And then we have our gunner, which is Vince C. And our loader, W. Peterson. And we have our driver, who is Abbott. And we have our assistant driver, who is William N. And excuse my horrible writing. Okay, so we now have our tank crew here. And what we're gonna do now is create create their ratings, because they will go from a very low rating to, they can go all the way up to 10 if they survive that long, and they will become a lot more efficient at what they do. So we roll a total of 5d10 and we round it, we take it half and round it down. Actually, I had to look it up. You round it up and you roll 5 and then you assign. So we have 9 and 6. So that's a 5 and a 3. And 7 and 5. So 5, that's going to be another 3, and the 7 is going to be a 4. Then we have one final roll, and it's a 5, so that's another 3. And it's recommended that you give the highest rating to the commander, because he has the most important actions. So we're going to give the enemy a rating of 5. And then we're going to give the gunner a rating of 4. And we're going to give the driver and the loader and assistant driver a 3. So we have the 5, 3, 3, 4, and 3. So those are the ratings for our new crew members. I really don't like the light. It looks a little bit dark on my screen here. So let me know if it's if this is doable. It looks better when it's up close. Okay, guys, it's now time to look at our combat calendar to see when we're going to have our first day of combat. So the combat calendar has this codes. For example, the first day here, the 27th of July, is A3L. Cobra Breakout is the historical notes, and the historical notes have no, it doesn't matter. It's just to give you an idea of what your what the fourth is doing. Anyway, the situation here is an A3L. A stands for the type of scenario. There are 3 types of scenarios. A is advance, which basically means you're attacking unprepared German resistance. You're just kind of, you know, advancing and meeting Germans who are retreating. And then you have a B, which is a breakout, and that's you're attacking prepared German positions. Can be very dangerous. And then you have C finally, which is a counterattack, and that's the Germans attacking you and your task force. And then the resistance, that's the number you're gonna have to roll or lower for combat to occur. So you can see that the most common number is 2. So there's not gonna be combat every day, because if you roll 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, or 10, there's not gonna be combat. And then finally you have the L and M, and even in some places I believe you might have an H. Yes, that's correct. And that's the resistance that you expect, light, medium, or high. And when you roll on later on different tables to see how much enemies will spawn on the battle board, if you have A, of course, it's going to be less, or and so on. Or actually, it's not quite like that, but rather how often combat is going to occur on the battle board. So it's not going to be more enemies, it's just going to happen more often. Okay, guys, I'm going to try to not confuse you any further, because I don't want you to be as confused as I was. And we're just going to start rolling to see for when our first day of combat is going to be. So when we're rolling, by the way, the black one is going to be for our 1 digits, and the red one is going to be for our 10s. So for example, this one would be 15. Okay, so for the first day of the calendar, combat calendar, is the 27th of July. I need to roll a 3 or lower for combat to occur. And I roll a 2, so we actually have combat here on the first day. And what I do is I just take a pencil just to give me, I want to show that I make a mark there to see that I've had combat, if I want to look back on the calendar to see which days that I have been fighting. Okay, so one thing I really like with the game, I mean, the board is huge and you have this you have different tables here, which I guess these you use them quite often, so it's actually quite nice that they are located here instead of on one of the 6 charts. And you also have the sequence of play here, which is very good, and you will follow this sequence of play as you play, and I'm gonna do it now. I'm gonna read it to you guys out loud, and then as we get going in further episodes, we're not going to be using it as much, but now actually I want to use it for 2 reasons. One, I want to make sure that I don't miss anything, because I don't want to learn you the wrong thing about this game. And second, it can be good for you to kind of hear everything that's going on. Okay, so first of all, before we get going with that, we're going to go ahead and take our after action report. And we're going to note the date that we got, the 27th of July. In 1944. The situation is an advance. And we have light resistance. Expected resistance, I should say. Okay, so the first thing we do is we check our sequence of plays, record a date and scenario code, and that's what we just did. Record a model of Sherman tank you command, and that's M4 Sherman tank. You can have later, I think, up to 14 models or something like that, 16 models, maybe even 17. So you're definitely going to be driving new tanks, and you can get new tanks if your tank is destroyed or during refit times. Record your tank's name, we've done that, it's Hell's Angels. Record tank crew names and ratings, and we have done that as well. Load ammo, and consult ammo availability and extra ammo tables, and load ready rack on the tank card. So to consult ammo availability, what you do is you check your tank card here, and we can see here on our M4, main gun rounds are 97, so we can have up to 97 main gun rounds. And we're gonna go ahead and mark what we load the tank with. And early on, when you have the M4, which has the 75mm gun, you wanna mainly have high explosives. And we're gonna take a look now at our ammo table, because we can see here that we will be able to load with a special round called HCBI, which is hexochloroethane base initiating smoke. And there is that smoke, and then there is VP, white phosphorus. We don't want any white phosphorus because the other one is better, because it lets you place 2 smoke markers instead of 1. But white phosphorus is kind of unlimited. You can take how many rounds you want, but hexachloroethane is you can only take 1d10 rounds available for your tank each day. So we have to roll to see how many we get, and we get 4 of those rounds. So first of all, on the ammo here, I'm gonna note that 4. There's HVAP here, which is high velocity armor piercing. We cannot have those, so I'm just going to scratch them. And it's the same with smoke bombs. That's only for tanks that have smoke mortar. We don't have that, so I'm going to scratch that as well. And then we have VP. We're not going to bring any. Armor piercing and high explosive. I'm going to go ahead and take 70 high explosive. And then I'm going to go ahead and take 23 armor piercing. Whoop, I wrote 20. Let's see, 23 armor piercing. And that gives us a total of 77 rounds, which is our max. But then if we look at the ammo tables here, the ammo tables, to determine how many extra rounds of main gun ammo you're ordered to load into your tank, roll 1d. And we have an advanced scenario. and we roll a 2, so that means none. That's quite rare because usually you have to take a bunch of extra ammo. We can, we're not required to, but you can voluntarily carry up to 30 extra main gun rounds and 10 30 caliber MG ammo boxes. And I think we're gonna go ahead and take an extra 10 ammo boxes of our 30 cal. The 50 cal is limited to 6. And there is also optional rules about machine gun ammo. Actually, it's an optional rules to track it at all. So you don't have to track your 30 cal or your 50 cal, but I like to do it. And it's the same with fuel. You don't have to track fuel, but I like to track my fuel. So I use the optional rule, and you start off with 35 fuel, and for each movement you do on the movement area, and we are going to get to that, you will spend a total of 2 fuel. And you might also spend fuel when you move on the battle board. And just to clarify that, these 2 boards are separate. This is when you're moving with your task force, and this is during combat. Okay, so we should be set now. Okay, we missed consult the weather table and record the weather. That should be done before you load your ammo. So we take a look now at the weather table, and we roll 2d10. And we roll 16, so we're gonna have clear weather, and that's good for us because everything else is, you know, quite annoying. So let's be happy with the clear weather, and we go ahead and we enter that here on the after action report, clear weather. And we're not quite done with the after action, of course, so I'm gonna leave that there. Determine the amount of daylight available this day from the sunrise sunset chart. And I can tell you right now that in July we have daylight from 5 a.m. until 7:15 p.m. But I'll show you the chart anyway. Let's see here. It's over here, so you can, I hopefully got it up on the screen now for you to see. So July 5 a.m. to 7:15 p.m. So we don't have to edit this, otherwise you have to fill in to remove time already passed. What we have to do, however, on this chart is we have to roll a time elapsed table. And that's to determine time and ammo already expended from time elapsed table. So we're gonna go ahead and roll 1d10. And we roll 5. So we can see here on the time elapsed table, time elapsed 1d2, 1d10, which is halved, rounded down, plus 1 hour. So 5, half of that is 2.5. That's 2 hours plus 1 hour. So we mark off 3 hours as passed on our after action report. And this also expends ammo, as you can see here on the time elapsed table. 1d10 times 2 HE. So that's going to be 5 times 2. That's 10 rounds spent of HE ammo. And X1 30 caliber MG boxes. So we have lost 5 boxes of ammo. So we go from 10 extra to 5 extra. And we have also spent 10 main gun HE, so we go from 70 to 60. Okay, and I think we are done with the after action report for now. Okay, we continue and look at the sequence of play. Determine your tank's deployment from the deployment table. And we have the deployment table. I'll show you this, and this is I'll read it to you. Determine the deployment of your tank by rolling 2d10 or 2 dice on one of the following tables. And basically it's going to be, we can be moving when battle starts, we could be hull down, stopped, whatever. So let's go ahead and roll 2d10. Whoops. And we roll 67. Oof, That's close to 57. We are moving, so that's not very cool. We take a moving marker and we put it here because we're going to be here in the center. Let's see, I'm going to tidy up. I should get one of those tweezers. Anyway, we are moving, as you can see, with our 67 roll, but we are not the lead tank, and believe me, guys, you do not want to be the lead tank because that is horrible. Let's see. Mark any hope and hatches on the tank card, and we're gonna go ahead because I like to go in with all my hatches open to kind of, you know, have an easier time spotting. Mark the round in the main gun load on the tank card. So we have a gun load marker here, and we're gonna go in with high explosive. There's also AP and smoke and so on. And also we should load the ready rack. We forgot that. That was the last step of the morning briefing. I'm telling you, there's so much to do here, but it's quite simple. We're gonna only load with AP. The ready rack, you can load 8 rounds, and you know, you can mix it however you want. I only want HP because that's really the only time that I use the ready rack, when I needed to save myself from something very bad. Face the tank and turret in the direction decided on the battle board. Okay, so here we have there is a different counter for every tank, and here it is for the M4. And there is also different turret markers. We have a turret of type A, and we have a 75 mil. So this is the turret for the 75. And what I want to do here now is I want to have my tank facing sector 6 to 8, and the turret is going to face the same sector. All right, position loader and commander spot marker on the battle board, and you're only gonna do that if you're actually buttoned up. So the commander, he's with the open hatch, because if he's buttoned up, he can only spot in one sector. But if he's with an open hatch, he can spot every sector on the battle board. However, the loader in this tank, he doesn't have a hatch. That is one of the special effect of this tank. There's only one, no loader hatch, which means that he can only spot in one sector. And we're gonna go ahead and choose the middle sector for our loader, I think. Or actually, let's see here. I'm gonna put it here on the left because our some of our guys here, let's see, driver, the gunner and loader, no, actually the gunner, turret front only, so that means the gunner can only spot here, so we'll put the loader spotting in this direction. This is zone 4 to 5, as you can see here by the number, if you can see that. I don't know, because the lighting is a little bit weird. It looks good when I'm sitting here and playing, but when I'm watching the camera, it looks brown. Okay, place US control markers in sector 1 to 3 on the battle board. And I'm sorry, guys, if this is a little bit slow, but I really want to show you, you know, in detail here and explain some additional things as we're playing. It doesn't matter which zone you put it in, long, medium, or close. They just have to be in position 1 to 3, because that means no Germans can spawn in that area. Mark the weather on the battle board. I don't think there is a marker for clear. Deep snow, falling snow, ground snow, fog, rain, and mud, and overcast. Nope. It is the standard is marked here, as you can see, with clear. So we don't do that. Determine start area. Mark the area and place task force marker there. So that's rather simple. You take a D10 and we roll a 5. So its start area is going to be 5, which is down here. That's perfect. So our starting area is area 5, and we take our task force marker. And the task force marker, that is not only us, but that is also our friends. So for example, it's going to be Charles L with his infantry squad, all our friendlies basically. that are, you know, we're not alone. We're definitely not alone. You have to, that is the first thing you have to realize. And then you roll on the exit areas table, and I will show you that on the screen. You roll a d10. So we roll a 5. Our starting area is 5, and we roll a 5. That means our exit area is going to be area number 2. Area number 2 is all the way over here. Okay. Check one adjacent area for enemy strength by consulting the resistance tables. Now, before we do that, we have to kind of decide where do we want to go. We know that we want to go here, but what way do we want to take to get there? We want to avoid at all costs sea areas. Those are towns, villages, and there's heavy resistance there, and highly likely there will be combat. A are villages, C are cities, so A can also be quite problematic. B and D is usually a safe bet. If I go the straight way, B, A, that's just gonna be 4 zones. You also have to calculate, you see these roads, that if you don't follow a road, it's gonna take 45 minutes. If you follow a paved road, it's gonna be 15 minutes. A dirt road is gonna be 30 minutes, and you can run out of time. But let's see here what way we want to go, guys. B, perhaps. I think we're gonna go just simply B, A, A. Even though I don't like A areas, there's not really much to choose from. So we're gonna check resistance for B. Okay, so we look at the resistance table here, and we roll 1d10. And we can see here we have a modifier. Rolls for resistance and battle in A areas are +1. And rolls for resistance and battle in C areas are +2. But this is a B area, so we're good. We don't have to worry. On a 1 to 7, it will be light. Because this is the expected resistance for the day, and we have expected light as we saw on the scenario code from the combat calendar. Otherwise, if it was heavy, light would only occur on 1 to 4, but it's light now, so it's going to be on 1 to 7. So hopefully we get the 1 to 7. We get a 7, guys, and that's lucky. If it would have been an A area, a +1 modifier, it would be medium resistance. But nope, we're quite lucky now. It's light resistance. Alright, so now we have done everything that we need to set up the game, basically. Now we go to operations. We have a bunch of options we can do here. We can call for artillery, we can call for airstrikes, we can attempt to resupply, and then finally we can enter adjacent areas. What we're going to do here now is actually we're going to call for artillery. To call for artillery, it takes 15 minutes of your time. So we start by marking off 15 minutes on the after action report. And then we roll a d10. And to get artillery, you need to roll, I believe, let's see, it's a 1 to... Let's look at the time use table, because we can see everything here, and that's what you're gonna use. So time use table, we can see here call for artillery 15 minutes, and on a 1 to 7 it arrives, on 8 to 10 it fails, and we roll a 9, so that means that we failed, but that's okay for us because we can actually keep calling for artillery. So I'm gonna mark off another 15 minutes here. And we roll again, and this time we got a 5, so this time we actually succeeded in calling in artillery. So we put our artillery marker here in B, and then we're going to go ahead and head into this area. So when we head into this area now, we have to pay 45 minutes of time because there's no direct road going there. So again, we fill in our after action report, and we're now at 9:15 a.m. Okay, so we have moved into an adjacent area. Battle the first thing we have to do now before we roll, if there is combat, we have to, if you wish to employ advancing fire, which we do, consult the friendly action table for ammo use. So let's look at that. Friendly action ammo use. Advancing fire. Place 6 advanced fire markers anywhere in sector 4 to 5, and tank losses, round up, we have no, omit 1 advanced fire marker. Advancing fire expands 1 dice, halved, rounded up, HE rounds, and 30 cal ammo boxes. So we're gonna have to do that, and we roll a free. So a free minus, I mean, half of it is 1.5, round up, that's 2. So we lose 2 HE rounds and 2 30 cal ammo boxes. So we still have 3 extra. We go from 5 to 3 extra boxes, and HE rounds we go from 60 to 58. Okay, so now we check to see if there is battle. After you decide and roll for advancing fire, you will spend your ammunition on advancing fire no matter if there is an enemy or not. Okay, so we take a look again at our resistance table, and we can see here light resistance, combat occurs on a roll of 8 or higher, and we still have those modifiers to think about, but we're currently in a B area, so we don't have to worry about them. So now if we roll an 8 or higher, there is combat, and we roll an 8, so guess what, there's gonna be combat. Okay, can you see my dice tower? Yes, you can. Okay, so I'm just gonna let it stay put here, so I don't mess with all of the counters on the board. The further we get, the more counters there are. Again, guys, I'm explaining very thoroughly now as it's our first action, so don't turn off the video and, you know, become pissed off, because next episode is going to be way faster, because I'm going to be counting on you guys to know the stuff that I'm explaining now. Okay, so we look at the activation table. Roll 2 d10. 2 times for light resistance, 3 times for medium, and 4 times for heavy resistance. And that's the resistance here, not the day expected, but the one we have here on the movement board. So it's light resistance. And before we do that, we're actually going to follow the sequence of play here again. Place advanced fire markers if employing advancing fire. And there's 6 of those. So I always like to put 1 in each in the closed zone. And then we have 3 more markers. And I'll place them something like that. I think actually maybe the long range is more common to have enemies in. So in all close, all medium, all long for this turn. And then we activate our enemies. We look at the activation table again, and we start rolling 2d10. First is 20. That's gonna be a truck. So that's a nice one because that's easy to kill. And then we roll a 13, and 13 is light weapons, so we're really meeting some very light enemies here. So then we go to battle board placement tables, and we start by rolling for our truck, and we roll first 1d10 to see which zone he goes to. He goes to zone number 5. This is 4 to 5, so he goes over here. And then for our light weapons, he goes also into zone 5. Then on the truck, we roll on the board battle board placement table to see which range. And truck at 1 is at close range. Ooh, he's gonna get advanced fire on him. And then we roll for the light weapons. Light weapons. He's also gonna be on close range. Ooh, he can maybe hurt us. And then we have vehicle facing for the truck. It doesn't matter, but we roll for that as well. A 5 means the truck is going to be showing us his front. And then we have table terrain. So we start rolling for the truck here. And we roll a 9. Vehicle targets. Area type is B. And a 9 is moving in the open. Okay, so we take a moving marker and put on the truck. And then we have the light weapons, and we roll again a d10, and we roll a 3. Infantry targets, area type is B, And we roll a 3, so that's going to be he's in the woods. Okay. And now we're actually ready for combat, guys. So we have placed activated units, and now we need to actually resolve advancing fire, artillery, and airstrikes. And you start with advancing fire, and there is a reason to that. That is actually because advancing fire, if we take out an enemy, they're actually not killed, they are considered retreating, so you don't get any VP for taking them out. That's victory points. Okay, so we consult now our friendly action table, and we start with the truck. We can see that the truck, to kill the truck, we need to roll 1 to 60. We can see that we have a few die roll modifiers here, and there's actually quite a lot of them. First of all, the one that's going to concern us here is -3 for each sector marked US control. And we have 3 sectors marked US control, so that's going to be a -9. The next one that's going to affect us here is, let's see, it's versus advancing fire or artillery fires versus vehicles except trucks. So that's actually not going to be relevant for us. So let me just see so I'm not missing something here. I don't think I'm missing something. So that's actually going to be, if we roll 1 to 69, that truck is taken out by the advancing fire we placed in that sector. And we roll 85, so that is a very lucky truck because he's unharmed. And then we roll for light weapons, and on light weapons we have a 1 to 30 to knock out. But then we have 2 modifiers. We have -3 for each sector marked US control, so that turns into 39 because we have 3 US sectors under control. And then we have artillery versus light weapons in woods, and they are in the woods. So our 30 turns into a 42, so 1 to 42 is out. And we roll a 35, so the light weapons do retreat from the battle. Let's see. And then we have our truck, so the advancing fire is done. That's again, you only do it if you place your advancing fire in the right sector. And you only have 6 sectors out of 9 to choose from. And then we have one more fun thing, because now we have artillery support, and that's going to hit every enemy. So for artillery, we see here, we consult again the friendly action table. Again, the truck is 1 to 60 to kill. And now it's kind of hard. I'll show you this. I think I can show it without showing the paper, because I actually have it on paper, because there is a matrix that were released in the general magazine issue 25 episode or number 3, and it's a matrix that shows which of these modifiers, because it's not clear in the basic rules which modifiers to use. But we can see here with OB artillery, we're not going to use flanking fire, we're not going to use airstrike this vehicle, we're not going to use each US controlled sector. We are going to use only RT versus light weapons in woods and advanced RT versus vehicles. So there's only 2 modifiers that actually changed artillery. Okay, so we have the truck, and the truck is 1 to 60 to kill. And then we have, which one did we have? We had woods, and it's not in the woods, it's not an infantry. And then we have versus vehicle, but that doesn't matter because it's a truck, so that's an exception. So we roll again, 1 to 60, he's dead. And he rolls a 97. So battle is still gonna happen, and there can even be an ambush. So artillery is spent. Okay, and the truck, he keeps on trucking because he's alive and moving. Okay, so we go to the next step, which is roll for possible ambush, and this happens before every combat. Roll a 1 to 7, it's an ambush. If you roll 8 to 10, it's not an ambush. And we roll a 4, so that's going to be an ambush. So what happens now is, with the ambush, you consult the enemy action table for each and every enemy. So enemy action table for advanced scenario, and we roll 2d10. And we roll 13. And we look at truck here, and on 1 to 30, they do nothing. But we have a bunch of modifiers, and we can see that there is a 1 here. Ambush turns, dice roll plus 10, so that 13 turns into 23. They still don't do anything. Okay, so there's nothing. But now is the next step. After we have ordered every enemy, we roll on random events table, and that can be rather devastating sometimes. 2d10, and we roll 95. Flanking fire we get. Flanking fire is good for us because that means basically our enemies are our friendlies are moving forward and they are using flanking fire. So I'm just gonna note here on my after action report that we have flanking fire, so we can use that in the next friendly action. Okay, so that is the end now for the enemies. Now it's our turn. So we look at the battle round sequence again. Smoke depletion phase, there's no smoke. Spotting phase. Okay, so we actually have to spot this enemy to be able to attack him. So and if it was a tank rating gun, we'd also need to identify them. Only spot them to shoot at them, but identify them to actually see what they are. So spotting is quite simple. You roll, and if you roll equal or lower than your crew rating, it's spotted. But to identify it, which is only for AT guns and tanks, it has to be, let's see here what it says on the spotting table. The roll is half rounded down of the rating the target is also identified. So for example, for the commander, who is rating 5, I would spot on a roll of 3, 4 and 5, and on a roll of 1 to 2 I would also identify it. But this again is only regarding tanks and AT guns. Now we have the truck. I start with the commander. On a roll of 5 or lower we spot him. I roll a 4, so we have successfully spotted this truck. So that ends the spotting phase. There's no more nothing more to spot. Also take note, I could have spotted with the loader here, but not with the gunner, so he can only spot in turret front only. Okay, and let's see, next step, orders phase, hatch segment, open or close hatches. We're gonna keep them open. We don't have anything that can kill us. On the battle board, if there was some close range machine gun and stuff, I would close probably some hatches. Order segment. Okay, so there's a lot of orders that you can do, and I kind of want to describe to you guys every order. So if you're not interested, skip ahead a little bit, but because this is going to make a lot more sense if I describe it, okay? So first of all, there's only one thing that everyone can do, and that is replace Periscope. And that you can have your Periscopes shot broken by Collateral, by small arms fire and so on. And that's, so everyone can do that. And then you have the commander, and he can do quite a lot of things. So we'll look at his action counters briefly. He can direct fire, and that is going to make it more likely that when you're firing at something with the main gun that it's actually going to hit. He can also direct movement. When you move with your tank, if you use that, it's going to be less likely that that there's an accident. He can throw a smoke grenade, but he can only do that if he has his hatch open. And the gunner can also throw a smoke grenade, again, if the commander's hatch is open. You can fire the SMG submachine gun, and you can both fire direct fire and advanced fire on the battle board. However, you have to have an open hatch. Something interesting is that the submachine gun can actually be also fired by, let's see, I have a, it's the loader. The loader can fire it, but only if the turret is a type B, and we have a type A, so he can't fire the submachine gun in our tank. And then he can also fire the HAMG, that's a 50 cal, and he can repair it if it gets broken. So those are the orders of our commander. And let's go ahead and take a look now at the gunner. So the gunner, just like the commander, can throw smoke grenade, which we spoke about. He can also, his main order is going to be, of course, fire the main gun. He can fire the coaxial machine gun, which is, you know, fitted to the main gun. He can rotate the turret. He can also rotate the turret and fire the main gun in the same turn. And he can repair the main gun. So that's our gunner. And then of course we have our gunner, I should say also, our gunner is Vince C. And then we have our loader, W. Peterson. And the loader can do a few things too. He can repair the main gun. He can change gun load. And he can restock the ready rack. He can also repair the coaxial machine gun. One thing with the loader is that the loader can, in some tanks, fire a mortar. But in this tank there is no mortar, so he can't do that, obviously. Another cool thing with the loader is that he can, in some tanks, fire the 50 cal, and that's why the commander has this C/L. But it's only in with tanks that have a split hatch. And I think that's tank number 14 and 16. So that's just 2 tanks. And in those tanks, just for your information, in those tanks, only the loader can fire and repair the 50 cal. The commander cannot fire the 50 cal or repair it in those tanks. And then we have our driver. And our driver is, of course, Abbott. And let's see what he can do. He can go forward. And he can forward to hull down. He can reverse, and he can reverse to hull down. And he can also pivot the tank. And both the loader and the driver has standard actions, which we can see down here on the tank card. The loader's standard action, if you don't give him an order, is to load. And the driver's hatch is the driver's order is just to stop. And then finally we have our assistant driver, William N. And William N can pass ammo. He can fire the bow MG, which is very effective against Panzerfaust, and he can repair the bow MG. So sorry for getting a little bit boring with you guys. I know you want some action, but I want to give you a detailed instruction about what every crew member can actually do to give you, an idea of what's going on and why I'm, taking the choices as I am doing. One last thing to note, by the way, time. Whenever a battle occurs, you have to mark off 15 minutes of time. So 15 minutes has passed because of the battle that is going on. Okay, so we have our orders, right? We're going to go ahead with our driver is going to stop. He's not going to do anything. And our loader is... Let's see, with to kill that vehicle. I'm wondering if we should use the machine gun instead, or should we use the HE? Okay, we'll use the HE, I guess. So the commander is gonna go ahead and fire he's gonna fire the HAMG. Our gunner is gonna rotate turret and fire main gun. Our loader is gonna go ahead and fire the coaxial. The loader is not gonna do anything. I think he's just gonna relax. Let's see if there's some funny action he can do. No, he's gonna relax. The driver is gonna stop. He's not going to do anything. And then the assistant driver, which is William, he's going to go ahead and fire the bow MG. I think that is probably the best option for this. Okay, so once you've decided your order, so again, the loader William or W. Peterson is going to go ahead and just load. And you see these little round things here on the order markers. For example, the thrown grenade. That marker means that he can spot if it has that round one. If it doesn't, they cannot spot. And one important thing about the loader that is also a little bit unclear, because you can see the loader here has that icon, but actually if he is loading while firing the main gun, that means he cannot spot the next round. So I'm just gonna put a marker there to remember that. The driver shouldn't do that because that's for the gunner. The driver is stopping, so Abbott is stopping. The assistant driver, William N, is firing the bow MG. The gunner, Vince C, is rotating the turret and firing the main gun, and the commander, which is me, is firing the 50 cal. So again, we look at the battle round sequence. Tank movement is first. So tank movement, first of all, is nothing. We don't move because we stop. So we remove the moving marker because our tank is now stopped. And then we have tank main gun fire. So we rotate the turret first of all because that's the order we gave. But our tank is still facing sector 6 to 8. So the first thing we do is mark off ammo on after action report. So we're firing one shot. So we have from 58 HE, we now have 57. All right. Roll to hit target to correct table. One thing that you usually should do is ammo reload. The ammo reload, we're gonna have it here on HE because I want to show that when I'm loading, because I have that action, we're not gonna load it AP, W, whatever. We're gonna load HE. So anyway, roll to hit the target on the correct to hit table for your gun. Mark a hit with either HE or AP hit marker for the target. Okay, so to hit target, we have this chart. To hit target, roll the base number or less after modification to hit. Vehicle targets, base fire, and you can use direct fire or area fire, and we're gonna get into that a little bit later, but we're gonna use direct fire. Vehicle targets, close range 75 to hit, but we have a few modifiers here. We're not buttoned up, we haven't acquired the target. The target is moving, so we have a plus 20. And then we have crew gun rating, so we're gonna subtract the gun rating of both the loader, the gunner, and the not the commander, sorry, but if he was direct firing, we would. So then we have, let's see, our modifier, Yusuf, stop. That's my dog who's walking on the floor. Let's see here, target moving plus 20 in close range, and then crew gun rating, so plus 20 turns into plus 16 because the gunner is -4, and then -3 because of the loader. So plus 13 now. Rotate turret fire plus 10 per sector, so plus 23. And I don't think there are any more modifiers. So plus 23, so to hit, which is 75, we now need a 52, I believe, to hit. And we roll a 22, so we definitely hit. And then we look at our HE to kill vehicles. HE to kill vehicles 75 millimeter. Truck is, it's a normal hit, and truck front a 95 to hit, to kill. So we roll, and we roll 52, and that truck is definitely killed. So that is our first. The moving truck is our first kill. Very nice job, Vince. You got that close range truck. So we mark, and this is something I want to show to you guys who's watching to learn how to play the game. One thing that confused me is because right here, victory points, we have a truck and you just make marks, but then when the game is over or the day is over, you need to divide your tanks VPs and friendly forces VPs, and that's super hard to remember. So for friendlies, I make lines, and for me, so a truck now, I just make a dot. So one truck killed for us. Okay, but battle is not over. We would normally now, if there was enemies left, we would make action for them, and then we would make friendly action phase. And friendly action phase, you know, they would fire, but there's nothing to fire on. So now we have one last random event, and there can be enemy reinforcements. We roll 2d10 and roll 52. Friendly advance, and that means actually the enemy, you can take one adjacent sector. For example, we could take this one, but that's not gonna matter now, because as the battle ends now, everything will be resetted. So we'll take away this. We can you know, change stuff here, but there's nothing we're gonna change. We're just gonna take away our orders to not confuse us. We should have, because I fired the bow MG and the AAMG. So what you do is you take these markers. Bow MG advanced fire always has to go in front of the hole, and then a 50 cal, and I would have put that, I think, over here, and then you will roll on something called Sherman machine gun versus infantry targets, and what we're looking for now here is gun malfunction. And if we roll 1 to 30, we also spend 1 ammo box of whatever we fire. We start with the bow MG, and we roll 57, so there's no malfunction, there's no ammo spent, and then the 50 cal, and we roll 40, so there's no gun malfunction, and there is no ammo spent. Remember, ammo spent on 1 to 30. If there would have spawned with the random event any Panzerfaust or any enemy infantry, we would have been able to fire on them with that advancing fire. Anyway, the day is over now, so we go back to 4.4. So determine your tank's deployment again. So we roll again on the deployment table. And we roll 9, so that's cool. We're actually hold down. That's pretty sweet. Pretty sweet indeed. Mark any open hatches. We keep open hatches. Whoops, we still have our orders here. And again, I hope you're having some. I hope it's okay that I'm not being super fast. That I'm getting, you know. Next time is going to be faster, hopefully. And I might still make small errors, so read the comment section. If you see an error, let us know, so I don't learn people the wrong thing. Mark the round in the main gun, and we're going to keep gun load high explosives. Face the tank and turret in the direction desired, and we keep this facing with turret up front. Position loader and commander spot. And loader again we're going to have here on the left. So sector 4 to 5. Place use control markers in 1 to 3. We already have those. And mark the whether that's faulty. You don't do that again. Okay, so now we have again the movement sequence. We get one free spot for free. So we will check this area for resistance. We roll 4, which will be a 5 with the modifier. But still 1 to 7 is light resistance. So we have light resistance over here. Okay, so now we can continue with operations, and again I'm going to call in artillery for this place. So we have to take our after action report and mark off 15 minutes, which it takes for to call in that artillery. And we roll a 6, so we have successfully gained artillery. And then we're going to go ahead and move in, and to move into this area, oh, by the way, we flip this because we have won that area, US control, and we mark here captured area 1 VP, so we mark that up before we move on. And now we move on, and it's a road in here, so that's only 15 minutes of time, so that's pretty sweet. So we mark off 15 minutes, and now we want to use forward fires. We roll 1d10 as usual, according to the, what's it called, advanced fire. 1d10, we roll a 1, so it's not going to spend anything because it's let's see, it's 1 dice split in two, rounded down. So 1, that's 0.5, that's 0. So that's not going to do anything. Okay, and now we roll to see if combat actually happens. We look again at the resistance table. Combat will happen on a roll of 8 or higher, but we have a modifier now because we're in an A area. So on a roll of 7 or higher, we actually have combat. So there is a higher probability. And we roll an 8, so there is going to be combat again. Whoops, I destroyed my new dice tower already. There's heavy combat here, which is... Man, everything is falling off. Okay, I'll fix that later. I guess that is just cosmetical anyway. Okay, so we have combat, my friends. So we go again to the battle. Place advanced markers if employing advanced fire. I think I'm gonna put them in the same way as before. In close range and in long range. Activate enemy units according to the activation table. Okay, we have 2 because it's a light. So we have 69. That's rather dirty. An AT gun. Ugh. And AT guns always start off as 88s. And then we have one more to activate, and it's 30. 30, 30, 30. That's a self-propelled gun. Okay, we're in a little bit of trouble now. Alright, so first we roll to see what sector. First one spawns in sector 8. That's here. And second one spawns in sector 6. And that is also here because this is sector 6 to 8. And 88 spawns in what range according to the range table? 9. That is long range. And then the SPG rolls a 1. And that's close range. Oof. And then we have facing. We don't roll for the 88, only for the SPG. And we roll a 7, so that's the side. Boo! Maybe we can get an AP hit there. And then we have terrain for the 88. We roll on the 0. And our area type now is A. They are infantry target. And A on a roll of 0, that's 10, that's open. So he doesn't have cover. That's great. And then we have the SPG. He rolls a 4. Vehicle types, area A. He's hold down. Okay, I don't like that. I would have liked if he was out in the open as well. Okay, so that's it now. Before we see if they get an ambush, we hope that our artillery or advanced fire are going to take them out, because both of them are subject to advanced fire. So let me check first of all the AT gun. So the AT gun is unspotted, so he's going to be 88, but it doesn't matter. He's killed on a 1 to 20 with our advanced fire. And then we have the flanking fire is gone because that's only for one battle. But we have for -3 for each sector, so that's -9. So now a 1 to 29 for each smoke marker during fog, advanced fire versus vehicle except trucks. Okay, so 1 to 29, we take out that AT gun. Come on. 87. Okay, so 87, that's rather unfortunate. However, as we see on the friendly action here table, we do get 1 smoke marker on that 88. So that's good. And then we have our SPG. And the SPG is stug free. It's always a stug until you identify them. On 1 to 30, we take him out. However, we have, also, again, -3 times 3, that's -9. But then unfortunately we have advancing fire versus vehicles +10. So it's going to be a +1 on our die rolls. So we need 1 to 29 to take him out. And we roll 64, so nothing happens. And that's for our advancing fire only. So we still have our artillery, luckily. Hopefully it will take out at least one of them. And we roll for artillery on the 88. And artillery doesn't get the modifier for US control. See if we have any other modifier. Plus 10 for each smoke marker in the target zone. So that's rather unfortunate. Now we need a 1 to 10 to take him out. Plus 10. 1 to 10 to take him out. 39. So he's definitely not dead. Then we have the 80 gun. We need normally a 1 to 30. But plus 10 artillery versus vehicles. So 1 to 20. 86, so we don't take him out, but the artillery does, we can see here the Stug plus 90 we would get smoke, but we rolled 86, so no smoke either. And the smoke is not modified according to the modifier, so it's an unmodified roll. That's what smoke depends on. Okay, so that's rather bad. We didn't get much. We got smoke on the 88, but nothing else. So you can see that it's quite important to have that artillery and advancing fire. Now we roll to see if there's a possible ambush. And there is definitely an ambush. So each enemy will get one action each. And we start by rolling for the 88. 88, we roll 2d10. We roll 42. 80 gun on a roll of 31 to, and we have ambush turn 2, so 80 guns get plus 20, so that's a 62. 31 to 65, fire any tank, and it would fire at your tank instead if you are firing at it, which we're not doing. Okay, so it's gonna fire on one of our friendly tanks, and we then look at enemy AP, or actually we look at something else. It's called enemy to kill, and it's under here, enemy fire combat. So it's an unidentified, so it's 88 LL, and he's firing on long range enemy fire combat table. So he needs 61 or lower to kill. But to kill numbers are halved for each smoke marker the fire encounters from the fire zone to the target zone inclusive. So he has smoke on him, so that's 61 is going to be a 30. It's going to be a 30 and a half, but we run down. So 30 to kill one of my friendly tanks. And he rolls 77, so we're good. He doesn't manage to kill him. He miss, mainly because we have smoke on him. And then we're going to look at what the Stug does, also on enemy action advanced scenario. 2d10. 89 SPG 89 fires at lead tank, and there's an ambush turn now, so that turns actually into a 109. So it's definitely gonna fire at the lead tank, and this is gonna be dangerous. SPG, we look again at the enemy fire combat. SPG tank, close range 65. See, he only needs a 65 now to kill because he's in close range to kill one of our friends. There's no smoke. And he rolls 57. So there we go. Our first casualty. We record it on the after action report. Our first casualty here is a tank for 5 VP lost. That's rather harsh. Okay. And now that the enemy action is done, we roll on the random events table. We roll 22, and that's mines. Okay, mines, no effect if not moving, and luckily I'm hull down, so that's not going to be any effect. Otherwise we would have to check the mines table. Okay, so that's the end of their ambush. We now go to battle round sequence, and the first thing we do is smoke depletion phase. So the smoke goes from dark to white, and then next time it's gonna go away. Spotting phase, attempt to spot enemy units according to spotting table. So the first thing I'm gonna do now is, the loader can't spot any of them because he's looking here, but we have my commander with a 5, so he's gonna try to spot the SPG. He needs a 5 or less to spot it. We roll a 7, so he fails. Now with the 88, he rolls a 7 again, so he fails. And then we have our gunner. So the gunner, we can see our spotting restrictions. The gunner with can spot turret front only, so he can spot the we'll start with the SPG. He's an 8, nope. The 88, a 1. That's perfect, because not only does he spot it, but it's his rating, which is 4, half of it is 2, and it's less than 2, so we have actually identified that 88. That's perfect. So now we look at the enemy vehicle gun appearance table. We roll 1d10, and it's a 2, so that lethal 88 turns into a little pack gun. So we flip it, and it's not there, we have to find it. It's a 80 gun 50L, so I guess that's the pack 38. Whoops. I'm pretty sure that's the pack 30. Yeah, because the pack 40 has the 75. Okay, so a very dangerous gun became a lot less dangerous, and that is the power with spotting, and that's why you have to be careful in the beginning of the game. Throw a lot of artillery and advancing fire, and when your crew rating is higher, you can take it a little bit more less dangerous. Okay, so did I try to spot the tank? I don't think I did, so I'll try again. 6, I fail. We have the loader who can't spot. We have the driver and assistant driver. They can try. They need a 3 or lower. Okay, so he's spotted now by my driver, who is Abbott, and my assistant driver William N is going to try to identify it. He rolls a 9, and if this guy wasn't spotted now, a roll of 9 will actually make them hidden, because if we look here at the spotting table, on modifier rolls of 9 or 10 always means the target is hidden from you in its current position, and spotting is impossible. But that cannot happen once you know the target is spotted and you're actually trying to identify it. Spotting can only be removed if the enemy moves, or if you move and choose to remove the spotting marker. You have the option to do it when you move, but they always remain identified once identified. Okay, enough talking for me. Now we have orders phase. Hatch segment. We'll keep our hatch open. Order. Oh, I want to take out that Stug. I'm gonna have to. It's a hard one. Okay, so what I'm gonna do is the driver is not gonna do anything. He'll remain where he is. The commander spotter. No, he's where he is. I'm gonna go ahead and with the commander to. No, I'm not gonna throw a smoke grenade, but with the loader I'm gonna change gun load, and he's changing it to, I'll put the ammo reload marker here in AP, because we wanna take that guy out. With the commander I am gonna fire the AAMG, and he will fire that as advancing fire into right sector. And the, let's see, the gunner is firing the coaxial machine gun as advancing fire in front sector, as well as the assistant driver. He fires the bow MG as advancing fire into this sector. And again, the gunner can only fire in the range the turret is facing, and the assistant driver can only fire the bow MG in the area the hull is facing. I'm losing my English here. As I said, the battle can be very long, and I'm sorry if it's dragging out, but I just want to make sure I'm doing everything correctly. Okay, crew action phase. Tank movement. We have no movement of our tank. Tank main gun fire. We have no main gun fire. Tank MG fire. Okay, so we will now roll for our bow and AAMG to see if there's a gun malfunction. We start with the bow. 45, no gun malfunction and no ammo spent. HA 50 cal. 28, so remember 1 to 30 you spend 1 ammo, and the 50 cal actually only have 6, so we now have 5 boxes of ammo remaining. And yeah, also we moved for 2 areas, so remember fuel is 2 per area, so we now have 31 instead of 35. All right, and let's consult this one. We have done the MG fire, and we will change gun load now from HE to AP. And yes, everything's done. Miscellaneous, nothing. Replace periscopes, repair guns, fire 2-inch mortar, which we don't have, throw smoke grenade. Enemy action phase. So it's the enemy's turn again. We start with the Pack 50. And we consult 8. And we consult the enemy action advanced scenario. 80 gun, 21 to 30, do nothing. Okay. And then we have the Stug. 99. Ooh. SPG. He's gonna go ahead now and fire at the lead tank again, and it's a 75 L, close range, 52 or lower. He gets it. 57. He misses. He misses. Ugh. Each tank we lose is 5 VP lost. Okay, so now it's the friendly action phase. So finally our friends are gonna do something, and we look at the friendly action table. We start with the Pack. The 80 gun, we need 1 to 20 to kill him, because we have the -3 artillery versus, sorry, -3 for each sector. It's going to be 1 to 29. And unfortunately for each smoke marker in the target zone there is 1 still, so instead of 29 and 19, and we're all 73, so nope, we don't get him. And then we have this Stug, 1 to 30 to take him out, -9 because of our sector control, so that's 39. So that's pretty good odds. Come on, come on, come on. 24. Okay, the Stug is taken out, so that's rather sweet. Let's see where we want to put him. Over here, and we have to mark on our after action report 1 KO SP gun. 6 VP, so we're now back to having a positive VP score, so that's good. All right, friendly action phase. Now we have random event phase. 37. 37. Friendly advance. Very good on advance scenario. And I'm gonna choose to take over this area here on the side. So now enemies cannot spawn there. And that's the end of it. Now we go back to 4.4, so we remove our advancing fire markers and other stuff here. We remove our orders. And everything is fine. Okay, so we have a new round now. We go back actually to here, 4.7, not 4.4, whatever I said. 4.7, smoke depletion phase, so smoke is gone. Hatch segment, we keep the hatches open. Ammo reload, mark ammo reload on tank card if firing main gun. We're not going to fire the main gun. Mark on tank card if ammo to be drawn from ready rack. Nope, we're not going to fire. Okay, but orders. What are we gonna do? We're gonna keep up with the firing. So and it's just gonna be the AA here again, the same that we did before. The only change to this advanced fire is that we're also gonna use the coaxial machine gun from the gunner. And that is just to protect us from any infantry, you know, entering the board. So the AA fires to the right, the coaxial and bow fires straight ahead as they have to. And that is our order. So we go, there's nothing. Actually, we should, with the loader, also change gun load back to AG. Okay, so we go to our orders here and we change from AP to HE. The loader is done. And then we put out our advanced fire markers as we did now, and we roll to see if there's ammo expenditure. On the coaxial there's no gun malfunction, not on the bow. On the 50 cal there is no gun malfunction or ammo spent. Again, we go to enemy action phase and we roll for the AT gun. And we roll 44, that's a hard one to see. But we rolled 44. And for the AT gun, let's see here. 44, that's fires at any tank. Fires at your tank instead if you are firing at it, which we are luckily not. And then we look at the enemy fire combat table and we see 50L at long range. He needs a 1 to kill. So that's not, I shouldn't say that's not going to happen, but that's very unlikely to happen. 36, so we're good. Okay, and then we roll on friendly action table. And it's over here. And we roll only for the puck. We roll 16. Okay, I think he's dead now. Because 16 minus 9, or sorry, plus 9, that's 25. And there's no other negative because there's no smoke left in his zone. So actually he's dead. So we take out the puck. And this is actually usually how it goes. That you're not the one that usually takes out the AT guns, the tanks. You take out some of the propelled guns, for example. We mark the kill here, AT gun, KO AT gun for 4 VP. You know, you're supposed to take care of the MG teams, the light weapons, trucks, you know, Panzerspeerwagens and Speerwagens, and, you know, the occasional self-propelled gun like Martyrs. They're quite easy to kill. Maybe a Panzer IV. But the other stuff, you know, you just gotta stay alive. Okay, anyway, so we still have to roll on the, what's it called, the random event table, so we can still have enemy reinforcements. If we're unlucky, we roll 6, so that is friendly artillery, and there's no enemies left, so that's, you know, doesn't change anything here really. All right, so we reset the battle board again. Use control, load, hold down. All right, and we have successfully captured another area, so we mark it. That's our second captured area as of today. And we get 1 free spotting. So again, we consult the resistance table. 1, 2, 7, it's light, but it's a +1 modifier because it's an A area. We roll a 10, so that is going to be medium resistance. So that's not so good. Okay, so what we're gonna do now, because there is medium resistance over here. Well, first of all, I'm gonna take back all of my markers here. Okay, so the first thing I am gonna do is call for airstrike. And when you call for an airstrike, it takes 30 minutes. And you can spend 15 of those doing something else. So I'm going to spend 15 of those calling also in for artillery. So we start by rolling for the airstrike. I need a roll of 1 to 4 to actually get it. And before we do that, we actually go ahead and mark off 30 minutes on our after action report. And we get an 8. So we also roll for artillery now. 1 to 7 we get artillery. We get artillery at least. We put 1 artillery support marker, but there's no way in hell I'm going to a medium resistance area with a +1 modifier without airstrike, so I'm marking off another 30 minutes here. We still have plenty of time to reach the exit area, as you can see. So we roll again, and we roll a 10, so again we fail, but we still get 15 minutes to call for artillery. A 2, so we get another artillery support marker, but I'm telling you guys, I'm not going in without air support, so we're marking off another 30 minutes. And I'm sure veteran players are thinking I'm a chicken now, but I roll a 7, but we get to roll for another artillery. We roll a 7 for that, so we do get the artillery. And I don't care that we have 3 artillery support markers. I want at least 1 airstrike, so I'm going to keep calling. 30 minutes. 1 to 4. Oops, that doesn't count. 10 again, are you serious? Okay, well, it is what it is. 30 minutes. 1. Okay, so we finally get that one airstrike that I wanted. And I think actually now we have so many artillery, I'm not going to call in for any, what's it called? I'm not going to call in for advancing fire. We have so much stuff, so anything that pops up should be killed, I guess. Anyway, check, we have done that. Okay, so we move in. We move into the new area, and there's no direct road this time, so that means we have to spend 45 minutes traveling. So we mark off 3 boxes. 1 box is 50 minutes, obviously. And then actually, I think I am gonna use advancing fire. So we roll on that advanced fire chart that we used so many times now, and I can't remember quite. 1d10, and it's half of it is spent, half rounded down. So we roll a 2, and that is a 1. So we spend 1 ammo box and 1 HE. So we have 2 extra still of 50 cals and 56, from 57 to 56 HE. And we roll now to see if there's an actual battle, because there still can be the possibly not a battle. We see on the resistance table, combat occurs on a roll of 6 or higher, but we have a modifier +1 for A area, so on a 5 or higher we have combat. We roll a 2, and we roll a damn 2, and that means that all of that time calling for that artillery and airstrikes was wasted. Okay, so we flip the marker and we have captured a 3rd area. So that's cool. We do get 1 spotting for free, so we roll now, and it's an A area again. I really hope to roll 1 to 6, so we don't get a medium. Yes, we get a 6, so that is light resistance. And we are gonna go ahead and call for artillery as usual. We mark off 15 minutes. We have plenty of time. 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 hours left and 45 minutes. So we call for artillery. Actually, I will call for an airstrike just for fun. So we mark off 15 more minutes. And I reroll now. So this is for the airstrike. 8. And I roll for the artillery 1. So I do get the artillery, but I don't get the airstrike. Okay, so we move into the new area, which is the exit area, which we need to capture. We get 10 VP for capturing that. It's a dirt road, so that's not gonna be 45 minutes now, it's gonna be 30 minutes of traveling time. And not sure if I marked the second combat here. I might have forgotten that 15 minutes, but you know, it is, let's call it fog of war. There is definitely fog of war in this game because there's so many things to remember. Okay, we roll to see if we have combat now. Combat. Okay, we're gonna use the advanced. First we roll for advanced fire. Advanced, we roll a 7, so that's gonna be 3.5 free. So that's 3 HE rounds and 3 30 cal. And the 30 cal we go now to 29 remaining boxes, and main gun from 56 to 53. To use advancing fire, by the way, you have to have HE loaded. If you don't have HE loaded, if you have AP anything else, you cannot use advancing fire. That's pretty good to know. We have went 1, 2, 3, 4 areas now, so that's 8 fuel spent. So we have 27 fuel left. And remember, when it comes to machine gun fire, when it comes to fuel, that's optional. I just use it because I think it's kind of fun, you know. I think it's fun filling this out. Okay, let's see if we have combat here. There's light resistant. According to resistance table, combat occurs on a roll of 8 or higher, but we have that A modifier, so it's gonna be a 7 or higher for combat. I think there's gonna be combat, I was gonna say, but nope. There's no combat, so the artillery is not needed, and that means we have successfully captured our first exit area. So that's a 1, so we have 10 VP for just that. So now that we have captured this map, you remove these counters because basically we're moving out here and we're going to enter on a new map. So we take this back and we do what we did at the beginning. We start by rolling for entry area or start area. Start area is number 7, that's over here. And then we roll on the exit areas table for exit area. We roll an 8. So our starting area is 7 and we roll an 8. So our exit area is going to be 10. And that's all the way over here. So I can tell you, I don't think we're going to reach that far, but we're sure going to try. Okay, we get 1 free spot, so I will spot in, let's see what way I want to take. We will spot in D. And we get a 2, so that's light resistance. Perfect. I'm going to go ahead and call for artillery. So let's mark up 15 more minutes. And roll 1d10. We roll a 10, so that's unfortunately we don't get it. So I don't go anywhere without artillery this early on. So we mark up 15 more minutes. We roll a 9. Are you serious? Come on. Another 15 minutes spent. I guess artillery guys are busy with something else. We roll a 4, so we get artillery. We move in to the new area. That takes 45 minutes of time because there is no direct road. So now finally the day is starting to come to an end. It's been a long day. And we roll for advancing fire, which we will use. We roll a 10, so that is 5 HE rounds from 5 MG boxes from 29 to 20. Let's see, 24, and from 53 HE rounds to 48. And then we spent some fuel. Let's see, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. So we have 25 fuel out of 35 left. And to get more fuel, if you run out, you have to just simply call for, during operations, to call for fuel. Okay, let's roll to see if we have combat. It's on a, let's see, 8, 9, 10 we have combat. And roll a 2, so there's no combat. We have captured yet another area. And we mark off 1 VP here for captured area. That's our, let's see, 4th captured area. And we will roll for resistance. And we roll a 4. So we have light resistance here in A. I will call for artillery, which will take 15 minutes. And hope that I will roll better. 7, so we have artillery over here. We move in with our task force. And again, we don't have a direct road. So it's gonna take 45 minutes to drive over there. Still have 2.5 hours. Fuel goes from 25 to 23. I'm gonna see that I have to see that my camera is still recording, so I'm not running out of memory, because this is a long day indeed. And then we roll 1d10 for advancing 5. We roll 7. That's 3.5, so 3. So 3 MG boxes from 24 to 21. 3 HE rounds, so from 48 to 45. And again, we roll for combat. So it's very procedural, this game, as you notice. But when you're playing alone, you know, it's going much faster. So it is, you know, a whole different tempo. I'm, you know, explaining to everyone now what I'm doing. So we have A combat light. It will look at the resistance table. Combat occurs on a roll of 8 or higher. But we have that modifier +1 because it's an A area. So combat will actually happen on 7, 8, 9, or 10. And we get a 1. Oof. So no combat. We capture another area. We mark it off on our after action report. And I think it feels like, you know, capturing that area is not very likely. Well, we can try. We roll for resistance, and resistance in this B area. We roll a 9, so there's going to be medium resistance over there. That's not very nice. I'll spend 15 minutes and roll for the A area. And we roll a 1, so the A area is going to have light resistance. And we'll call in artillery for 15 minutes. And we get it. We mark off 15 minutes here. And we put the artillery over here and we move in. When it's a dirt road, so it takes 30 minutes to move this time. So we still have 1 hour and 15 minutes. We spent 2 fuel, so we're now down to 21 fuel. That's still plenty to go. And we're gonna go ahead and roll for advancing fire. We roll 10, so that's 5 MG boxes. We got from 21 to 16. And from 45 main gun AG rounds to 40. So we're kind of running a little bit low on ammo. Okay, now to see if combat occurs. Light resistance 1 to 7, but +1 because of A area. So, no, actually 7, 8, 9, or 10. And we have a 10, so now we get combat. Okay, so we will place out our advancing fire as usual in the close and long range sectors. And then we activate 2 enemy units. Activation according to the activation table. We have rolled 38. That's light weapons. And then we have rolled 25, which is an AT gun. Ugh, I don't like AT guns. Okay, the light weapons go into sector 3, which is use controls. It goes on the opposite side when that happens. The AT gun goes to 10, which is the same area. They always go into the same area, these guys. Stick together, eh? We roll for range for the light weapons. It's an 8, and that is medium range. So we miss him with the advanced fire. That's unfortunate. And then we roll for the... We have actually area type modifiers here, but none of them are active right now. Then we have the AT gun. We roll a 2. Oh, that's not good. That's close range. Okay, and facing, we don't have the roll for that, but we do have the roll for terrain. We start with the light weapons. The area type is A. We roll a 4, so that's woods. And then we roll for AT gun. We roll a 4 again, and AT gun also woods. Okay, this is bad. Okay, we start by rolling for our advancing fire, and advancing fire is only gonna affect the 88. So we start by rolling for that, and we see here on our friendly action table as usual, AT gun 1 to 20 to hit, -9 for the US sectors controlled. So that's 1 to 29. We take him out. 93, so unfortunately we don't take him out, but 93, 80 or higher, we actually put smoke on him, and that's good because that stops him from doing something bad. And that's it for our advanced fire. So we remove our advanced fire markers. And then we roll for artillery. We have 1 artillery in this area. So artillery, first of all, for the light weapon, 1 to 30 to take him out. But we have a modifier here, -3 artillery versus light weapons in woods. So 1 to 33, we kill him. 48, so we miss. And then we have artillery versus the AT gun. Again, we have the 1 to 20 to kill AT gun. But we have the modifier, artillery versus AT gun targeting woods. So 1 to 23. Come on, come on, come on. 85, we miss. That's rather bad, because that means artillery spent it into anything, and advancing fire only gave us smoke again. So we are going to go ahead now and roll for the enemies on the enemy action advanced scenario. We roll for the light weapons first, and we roll 98. Fires at your tank. We have ambush turn +20. So fires at your tank. And when they do that, what happens is that you actually check collateral damage. Okay, so we go to the collateral damage table. Where is that again? That is on the red one, I want to remember. Yes. Okay, so we have the collateral damage table, and we roll 2d10. We roll 72. Driver possibly wounded, if not buttoned up, and our driver is Abbott. So Abbott might bite the bullet now. Okay, so that means he's maybe wounded. We go now to the wounds table. And we roll 78. That's a light wound. That means he's out 1 week. 78. Let's see if I have any modifiers. For crewman during. Okay, he's out for 1 week. He have a light wound. I don't think there's any marker for that, so we have to mark it. That was our driver, light wound. I'll just write it here. But light wound. 1 week. So basically you will want to mark that on your combat calendar. He's going to be away for 1 week at the hospital. So we have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7 days. So he will be back on the 4th of August. Driver back. All right. But he's still going to remain with us now. Like he's not seriously wounded or something. So he doesn't, you know, we don't have to evacuate him right now. Okay, that was only the light weapons. We still have the 88 to roll for. So bad stuff can still happen to us, guys. Let's hope it doesn't. Let's see if I can put this up here. I need my charts. Come on. There we go. Okay, we have the enemy action, advanced scenario. We roll for the AT gun. And we roll 93 plus 20. That's 113. AT gun fires at lead tank. One thing we actually forgot to do as we started this battle was determine your tank's deployment. So we're going to have to do that straight away, because if we light the lead tank, he's going to fire at us. We rolled 96. Are you kidding me, man? Okay, so we are not only moving, but we're also the lead tank. And an 80 gun is firing at us at close range. Lead tank. And that's something you would like to say scheisse to. Alright, the 88 is rolling 116 or whatever, 113. Something like that. So he's firing at the lead tank. So now we have to roll on enemy AP to hit. So we have the 88 here. 88 LL. Close to hit 97 or less. 97 or less to hit. However, we are a little bit lucky because it is there is smoke here. So if smoke, we have Sherman, let's see, firing to each smoke marker. So it's half of the base value. So instead of 97, that's, let's see, 45. 45 is 90. Should be 43 then. I'm guessing 43 plus 43 is 96. Okay, so 43 I think it is to kill. But then the die is modified because the Sherman is moving, so it's a plus 20 on his roll. So he actually needs a 23 or lower to kill me. But if he does, he kills my tank. So there's still a high chance here of that happening. Okay, are you ready? Oh my lord. Oh my lord, 21? Are you serious? 21, sorry for using the Lord's name in vain, but yes, 21. Okay, first of all, let's see if he hits... go away, Joseph. Let's see if he hits the turret or track. So we roll a d10. for our normal target. We roll a 1, so he hits our turret. This is not going to be good, guys. I can tell you that. Enemy AP percentage to kill. So he has hit us, but we still don't know if he killed us. He hit us on the turret from short range from the side. And 88L. And our armor class is 1. Let's see here. 88LL gun. It doesn't matter if he hits on the side, if it's the turret or not. 95 because our armor class, we find our armor class on the tank card. Armor class is 1. And this is why I'm spamming artillery, guys. So on a 95 or lower, he kills us. We roll 19. So he kills our tank. Oh man. Okay, let's roll out to see if our if some of our if the tanks explodes or not. So there's a great sequence of play here when your tank is a target. So we have rolled on hit, enemy AP to hit location, and then AP to kill. It does kill. Your tank has been knocked out. Roll for explosions. We have the tank explosion table. On a roll of 100 or more, the tank explodes and all of the crew is killed. It's not a whole hit because he hit the turret. It is a hit from an 88LL, so that's a +5. And then +1 for each 2 rounds of extra ammo. And we don't have any extra ammo, so we're good. But +5 if the tank does not have wet stowage, and we don't have because that's a special ability. So basically on a roll of 90 or higher, the tank explodes and everyone is dead. Okay, I swear I didn't cheat, but I forgot to put my phone in airplane mode, so someone called, but I kind of rolled 17. I kind of feel like I want to re-roll this actually, and I think I am going to do that. We roll 48, so the tank does not explode, okay? So let's see here. Roll on explosion. Roll for crew casualties on the wounds table. Good. Okay, so we're gonna go ahead and roll for our wounds now, and we'll start with the commander. So we check our wounds table, and we have the hit location crew wound effects. The location of gunfire or Panzerfaust which penetrates the tank affects the wound of tank crew by modifying the dice rolls on the wounds table as follows. We have been hit in our turret on front right side. So turret front right side, or turret actually, it just says turret right. Driver and assistant driver -20, gunner +10, loader -10. We start with the commander. There's no modifier. We roll a 77, so that's is out for 1 week. And we note it's on the board here, so he's going to be back at the same time as the driver on the 4th of August. So that's unfortunate for our commander. And then we roll for our gunner, which is Vince, and he will have a +10 to his roll. 48, which will be a 58. 58 is light wound, no effect. So nothing really happens except you have a little bit of a wound. And I'll just write light wound on the after action report. And then we have our loader, W. Peterson, and loader will have a -10 to his roll. So he has 41, which turns into 31. Nothing happens. And then we have Abbott, our driver. Driver has a -20. He rolls a 17, so that's a 0. Nothing happens. And then finally we have our assistant driver. He also has a -20 to his roll. He rolls 50, that's a 30. Nothing happens. Okay, so basically what happens is everyone get out, but I'm lightly wounded, the commander, I have to go 1 week vacation. That's the same for for the driver since before. Commander, 1 week. Yes, and normally now some crew might have become incapacitated, I think that's how you pronounce it, and they get stuck in the tank. And what you have to do then is roll on another table to see if you can rescue them. And you roll again on the wounds table, and you have to risk other crew members to try to save them. And they can get killed themselves trying to rescue incapacitated crewmen. And then you roll on brew up table, and if the tank burns on a M4 on the gunfire is on a roll of 80 or lower, it will burn. So 1 to 8 is burning. So now we roll hundreds. Actually, it wouldn't burn, but now on a 43 it would burn up, and every crew member that is still stuck in the tank is automatically killed. Okay, so that is the end of the day. That is the end of the day. So we go ahead and reset, because we don't know what happens in the battle. We don't know if our friendlies are taking out more enemies or if they're taking more casualties. We just go ahead and reset, and I'm just gonna leave it there because that's always how I start the day. I always start here with my tank facing that sector, and the turret as well, and the US control markers always stay here. The hatches though I am gonna remove, because not always I want to do that. And we'll reset these for the ready rack, and the same with the gun load. And then we remove these as well. And that's it. I mean, that's a rather sad ending of our first day of combat, the 27th of July. Our tank is actually knocked out, so we mark that here. Day ends for us at let's see, 1800s, and it's a knockout, so we're actually killed. We have 1 week of wound for me. I have to be away for 1 week. A light wound. The gunner Vince is lightly wounded, but nothing happens to that. He stays in the crew. W. Peterson has he has no damage at all. Abbott is lightly wounded and also away for 1 week. William N is not wounded at all, so they make it. William and Peterson, they make it out alive. We still have 21 fuel. We have 16 MG 30 cal boxes, 5 50 cal boxes. We have 40 rounds still of HE fire, 23 of AP, and 4 of smoke. We have managed to kill 1 truck, so we have a total of personal 1 VP. I like to take it because that is gonna give you a promotion if you reach 100. So we have 1. We have 99 to go. We have a total here. Let's calculate our victory points. So that's a total 1, 6 for friendlies destroyed self-propelled gun, 4 for friendlies destroying 80 gun. Let's see, how many areas did I capture? I must have forgotten to mark some. 1, 2, let's see. I captured 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. I want to remember. Maybe it was just 4. Okay, so 4, so that's 4 VP, and then each captured exit area 10, so that's 10 VP. And then we have lost 1 tank, so that's -5. And to make it a little bit extra complicated here, we have victory point multipliers by scenario. So this is an A scenario, so we have X1 KO German units, X1 lost map area, but we have X2 for captured map areas. So this one, each captured map area goes from 4 to 8, and the captured exit area goes from 10 to 20. Okay, so our total VP now is 1, 7, 11, 19, 29, 39 -5, so 34. So our total VP is 34. 1 VP is done by our tank. 33 VP is done by friendly forces. Or actually, it's let's see. Friendly forces should be 6, 10. Okay, so 10 from friendly forces, and territory is a total of 28. That's not bad. So that's a total of 38, 39 VP, but 5 lost because we lost a tank. And that, my friends, is the end of this day. Thank you so much for looking at this video, and I hope you came all the way here to the end. We are going to continue with this career. We are going to keep rolling on the combat calendar, but something that is pretty cool now is that we are going to get to roll next day for our replacement tank. So hopefully we get a better tank, because the M4 really isn't that good. It has a very low armor, doesn't have any of the special abilities like the smoke mortar and so on. So hopefully we can get a little better tank. There's actually one more thing that we're going to do now before we end, and that's a rather important thing, because that is rolling for your crew advancement. So if you roll a higher number, they are actually advanced in their rating. So let's start with the commander. The commander rolls a 7, so he goes from 5 to 6. Vince, the gunner, loads a 1, so he remains the same. The loader, W. Peterson, rolls a 4, so he goes from 3 to 4. The driver rolls a 3, so he remains the same. And the assistant driver, he rolls a 6, so William N. goes from 3 to 4. Almost made a 6 there. So we have, out of our 5 crew members, 3 of them have learned something very important during this day of combat. Well, guys, again, thank you so much for joining me. I hope that you will come for the next episode. And again, next episode I think is going to be much faster. I don't know if I'm going to do all the editing also with the tables next episode, because if you watch this episode, you should be knowing what's going on. Also, I hope that if you're just watching this video to learn how to play the game, I really hope that I have taught you, I think that's correct English, taught you how to play this game. If you have any questions regarding the game, you are welcome to ask me. I would like to think that I can answer most questions, if not all, about this game, because I have really extensively, I've looked at every post on Boardgame Geek, I have looked at every post on Console World Forum, I've contacted the designer, I've spoken to people, I played it, I've read the rules like 10-20 times, and looked at every file on Boardgame Geek Forum and the Grognard website. So I have really done my research. That being said, there is fog of war in this game, and I can certainly possibly have made a few minor mistakes. So if you saw me do any mistake, tell me in the comment section, because then other people can see that as well, so I don't trick them in making the same mistake. Again, guys, thank you so much for watching. Don't forget to like the video, share it, and give me a comment of what you think. Whatever, positive, negative, whatever you thought. And of course, don't forget to subscribe. See you next time for the next day of combat. We're not gonna have a commander, but we're gonna have a replacement commander. Our tank is gonna be Vegas, and our replacement is gonna be first replacement, who is Mutin, who's gonna be new commander of the tank. See you guys.